a great name.
Mark Parker. So here, and this is what's going to kill me. I don't know if I talked about him on the podcast, but I 100% told Trey. I called this weeks ago.
I don't remember the name because I would have remembered Mark Parker because that's like a tongue twister.
Mark Parker. So Mark Parker has been rumored as a possible successor to Bob Iger as the next CEO of Disney. So I started looking into him a couple weeks ago. He was the CEO of Nike for like 13 or 15 years. And he is currently a Nike executive chairman. They just announced him. So he's been on Disney's board of directors since 2016. They have just announced him as chairman within the last week.
Mm-hmm.
So he's now head of the board of execs for Disney, or the board of directors, whichever way they call it. I am still convinced that he is probably a top option for a successor to Bob Iger right now. And I'm so mad that I didn't talk about this weeks ago because I would have been like, go back and listen to that podcast. But I talked about it with Trey a lot. I was like, hey. Also, maybe this means we get some Disney Jordans. So,
oh, that would be sweet. Oh, I would spend money on those. That would not be good. Maybe I don't want that to happen because
I do.
My bank account wouldn't love me.
Nope. I do. I'll get a second job.
I would buy them for my whole family. Like me, Mark, the boys.
I need it.
Yeah.
So Mark Parker, the new chairman to the board to Disney.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they're training him up, especially with that article you sent with the new succession plan they have to train up the next CEO.
Yeah. I'm going to be really interested in what happens in the next year and a half with that. Because it's going to be an interesting next 2-ish years.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they pick somebody good.
Yeah, you hope so.
Fingers crossed.
Someone who cares.
Yes.
I think that's really what they need to do is just pick someone who's not all about the money, who just cares about what Walt cared about.
What I like about a pick like Mark Parker, he's been on the board with Disney for multiple years at this point, so he has a feel for how they run. But he's also an outsider. He didn't grow up in the Disney parks and grow up in the Disney system. And there's something to be said for you started working a food concession in Disneyland and you worked your way up and now you're on the board of directors. Like there's something to be said for that. But I think it's also very difficult to maintain an unbiased look at trying to make changes. I like him coming in from a totally different company. He's been with Nike since 1979.
Oh,
so he's been with Nike for so long. Him coming into something that is slightly different is probably a little scary for him, especially like Nike wasn't really big onto the media and the streaming like Disney's has been into, obviously, with movies and media. But I think he brings a really unique, interesting outside perspective,
breath of
to
fresh air,
different success.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he hasn't been born and bred in these Disney groups.
Right.
He also probably doesn't have a lot of real close alliances with different people through the Disney Corporation. So like maybe he can't be bought to, okay, well, I like you more, so I'm going to do whatever I can to bring up your side of whatever part of Disney you are, as opposed to these other sides that need help. Like,
right.
I think he's a good outside perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I like about it. I'm a big fan of outside perspectives.
Yeah. I mean, he then has a sense of, what it looks like from the outside and how he can change it to, I guess, look and be better then.
Yeah.
I like it.
Now, on the flip side, it's scary because maybe he'll take a bunch of the magic away because he doesn't care. I don't know.
I hope not. Yeah. I would hope not.
So interesting next few years as we see what happens.